Hello there, everybody. It is Sue, and thank you for watching us on replay. Today, our LoveBiz training and development workshop is all about LinkedIn, something that I've used for many, many years, and I'm going to share with everybody in the room today. It's a very busy room, so it's lovely. And for you watching on replay, just the day-to-day stuff that I do on my own account and where I get successes and where sometimes that we need to look at our accounts for the basics. So let me share with you some of those details. But just to give you a background of me, Sue Crooks, I'm not only the founder of LoveBiz Networking, but I've also had the marketing business for the past 15 years. And I know some people in the room that I've supported with various projects over the years. So years ago, it used to be Facebook. That was my best friend for helping my business grow. But that's dwindled away a little bit. I'm going to give you a few stats in a short moment. But I've been using LinkedIn for over 20 years. Can you believe that? Over 20 years. I know I was probably only 6 when I started to use it. Bless you. Thank you for those people who just smiled and laughed. But it's been a great business tool for me for the last, I'd say, 6 to 8 years. Really taken all the best bits out of other platforms. And we will go through some of those bits and pieces. But before then, many years ago, before I set my business up 15 years ago, I used it to help us recruit. And for those who have known LinkedIn for a long, long time, it was pretty much a recruitment CV site and how you employed people. And it was quite basic, but did the job. We found lots of our sales managers through LinkedIn in my old corporate life. It was a great tool. But as I say, it's been starting to get, about 6 to 8 years ago, starting to get all those little bits added from other platforms that were really good. LinkedIn is really a business to business tool, but it can be a business to consumer tool as well, because what you got to remember is all those people are human beings and possible consumers. So it's not always about business to business. And I'm looking here at Colette because she's in front of me. And, you know, millions of those people will have dogs. She's a dog behaviorist. So you've got to think of those people could be your target audience. And I'll share that with you and let you have a few moments think about who your target audience is. And I might get you to join in on the chat box as well with some of that. But it really has been a huge tool for me. I would say over 95% of my business these days comes from LinkedIn. I would probably say 1% these days comes from Facebook. 8 years ago, I would be telling you a completely different story. So I'm going to share some stats with you in a short moment, but shall I get started? Of course, I've done a PowerPoint presentation. It helps me to remember the flow of this session. So I'm just going to share my screen. But I am going to be going back to my own live LinkedIn account to be sharing lots of live stuff with you. So it's not just going to be death by PowerPoint for you. I'm going to be showing you stuff that is actually live. But let's go through the basics first, ladies. Just checking I have got it all recording and everything. There we go. So let me just jump on to my, go. Let's see if it's all going to work for me. Let's go on presenter mode. Let's see. Yeah, brilliant. It's all come up. Hopefully you can just see that first slide. I can see Michelle Anthony. Can you just tell me? Thank you so, so much. It's always good to have a thumbs up from someone. So here we start. So I'm going to share some of the details. Now, some of these tips that I'm going to share to you, you can use for other platforms. So take note. And of course, you can go and watch it on replay afterwards and make sure you catch up on those things. So ladies, all platforms, whatever you're on, you know, the usual, the Facebook, Instagram, all those. The main thing is you show up and engage. And that's exactly like LinkedIn. You've got to be showing up and engaging with others. Of course, you've got to post, but engaging and posting is just as important as each other. And I think a lot of people forget engagement, where it's post, 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 but they do not engage with others. So we'll go through that in a bit. Have a plan. Give yourself an idea of when you are going to post, what about. Now, I know a lot of people like to post about special days. It could be National Donut Day, or it's Nationwide Networking Week, I believe, at the moment. And they're really good to post about because they are also very on trend on the day. People might be using hashtags about those posts. I will share about hashtags as well later. But one of the things I wanted to remind you all is, if you remember, if you don't speak and engage in your networking events, people will not know who you are. And it goes across the same with LinkedIn and Facebook and all those other platforms. So I'm going to share some users in the UK that's happening at the moment. Now, LinkedIn has gone up a huge amount over the last couple of years, and there are 44 billion adult users here in the UK. The difference between Facebook and LinkedIn a few years ago was quite a big gap. They are just under 56 million users in the UK. Instagram, and these were stats from about November last year, so they haven't got obviously the latest stats at the moment. Instagram, 33 billion users. TikTok, 23 million users. So LinkedIn is actually the second most popular platform at the moment. And if you dig deeper into those stats on who are using what platform, a younger audience is on TikTok and followed by Instagram, so and Facebook. So if you're wanting to work, or your target audience is with maybe an older audience, LinkedIn is definitely where you need to be. If you sell product services to below 25-year-olds, you need to be doing a bit more in TikTok and Instagram, because that's where they hang out. So just knowing those stats, and I'll do some more posts actually in the group about some of those stats to help everybody, because it's really worth knowing where those people are. So there's some stats for you. So here's something to think about, ladies. Let me just move my screen a bit because I can't see my slides. Here's something to think about after listening to those stats. Where does your target audience hang out? It's really worth knowing. Are they even on social media? Or, you know, I treat LinkedIn as a social media platform. You know, years ago, you would never have classed it as social media, but it is. So it's really worth understanding where your target audience hangs out. Now, this is a general marketing question. So some people's target audience will not be on anything with technology behind it. They could be a print reader. They could be a magazine reader. So it's really worth knowing where your target audience hangs out. And if you're not sure, start to do some surveys with your client base and find that information out. Also, it's really worth knowing actually what do you want to achieve by engaging, by posting. Is it that you want the hard sale? Is it that you just want to do some brand awareness? With anything in these platforms, you've got to understand what you want to achieve. And we're gonna have some time on posts in a short while. I'm going to try and give you as much information as I can, but you also have to understand what you want to get out of it. Your target markets, I've put there your audiences, as I've already said. You need to know where your business to business lies and your business to consumer. So if you're a business to business, that makes sense, you need to be on LinkedIn and you need to be working and building your audience. I use LinkedIn as my second tool for networking because I'm obviously in LoveBiz, but I use LinkedIn for networking. It's an absolute perfect shop front for people to learn about the business and about me. So remember, in your platforms, you need to be showing your shop front. People need to know whether you're that lady dancing along the street with her flowers and sharing to the world what she does. You need to be enticing like that bakery. You need to make sure your shop front, and that's your profile, that's even more so links to websites and all sorts. Make sure that you're an enticing, welcoming business and let people know about your brand and who you are. So your shop front, you need to be found. And also you need to prove your credibility. And this is where LinkedIn is fabulous. Your credibility is your testimonials. Your credibility is when you've won awards, when you've done something fabulous and you can post about it. Your credibility is about events you've been to. You need to be found. So the posts you're doing need to be sharing about your credibility. In networking, it's all about know, like, and trust. So start with the know first. People need to know about you, and LinkedIn's a perfect platform. We're all busy people, and we've all got many competitors out there. Not many of us have true niche businesses. So we need to be the highlight of our business. People need to find us. You need to be in that spotlight of that wonderful post-it note that's just been crumpled up. And I love a post-it note. I think Claire McCabe's here. I know she loves a post-it note as well. But you need to be that yellow, scrunched up bit of paper. You don't want to be the blue because people forget about the blue. You're not being visible. So you need to be that highlight of being seen, the know, and then people get to like you and to trust you. So LinkedIn is like a technical networking organization. But first of all, and I'm sorry if I'm going fast, I really want to give you as much information as I can. First of all, we need to sort out our profiles. And I'm going to show you this. This is actually a profile that I saved from a few years ago. I've done LinkedIn training for quite a few years now, and I just want to show you this profile and just give you some ideas. Then we're going live on my own account. So here she is. Can you see this URL up here? This is your domain, your URL, so you can use that URL for people to come and find you. There's something there that could be tweaked, and that is Felicity. I don't know her, by the way. She's my first connection. If you know her, please don't tell her I'm using this. That'd be really awful. I did look at the mutual connections though, but here we go. So you can see there, Felicity Blades. She has got all those digits behind her name. So one of the things I'm going to show you in a moment is how to make sure you are Sue Crooks. So linkedin.com, it's always got those little hyphens in, and then Sue Crooks, or Susan Stewart, or Michelle Anthony, Donata Crossfield. I'm just seeing names on my screen. I can't see you all, sorry. But we need to make that much more user-friendly. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Also, I'm going to share some other bits about your profile before we pop onto mine. You know, these people who are putting emojis in front of their names, that's not a good thing. You want to be found in the easiest way possible. So if I was looking for Susan Stewart, she's in front of me. Hi, Susan, I can see her. If I want to search Susan, I just want to put Susan Stewart in the search box. When you start to add emojis at the front of your name and even at the back of your name, it doesn't look great, to be honest, you know, but it's actually harder for people to find you. So my personal dislike is having those emojis in front of them at the end of names. But make sure also your name is who you are while you're networking. The amount of people I know who, you know, if an example would be my name. Everyone knows me as Sue, but if I put Suzanne, Susane, I'm with an S, you won't find me. So it's really worth making sure the name you have your account set up in is the name people can find you. So you've got to make the journey for people to find you as easy as possible. And I'm going to pause there and I'm going to stop the share. Check you're all there still. I've not lost anyone along the way. And we're going to go and look at my profile live. So here we go. Here we go. So ladies, let me just move you to one side again. So here is my profile. Yeah, I can see some nods. Thank you. So here's my profile, and I'm just going to click on it so you can have a look at mine. Okay, so you can see here I've got a nice professional banner. You can see when you find me what I'm exactly about. It looks neat, tidy. It's not low resolution or blurry. It's not cut anyone's heads off. It's to the exact shape and dimensions that LinkedIn needs. Now, all these social platforms change it every few years, so make sure that your dimensions are right. Can you remember I just shared with you about the domain? So there you go, Sue Crooks. That's my name. That's what I use. And that's how people find me. You'll see here, professional image. Yeah, it was one taken from the LoveBiz Awards and International Women's Day last year. I try and update my images every couple of years. I'm planning for a major haircut in the next month or so. So I will be having other photos done after then, because I think it's really important you keep your profile images fresh. An example here is a few years ago, I was working on LinkedIn and my daughter was by the side of me and she knew the person who I was looking at the profile of. And she actually said, Mum, that looks absolutely nothing like the person's name. And it didn't. She'd used such an old photo. It was probably 20 years old. And the hair color wasn't right. There was so much wrong with that image. If I'd met her in the street, I wouldn't have recognized her. And we're all in the world of networking. And when you walk into a room and you haven't met someone the first time, but perhaps you've spoken to them on LinkedIn, isn't it nice to recognize them? Rather than think, oh my God. You know, so if someone's changed their hair from blonde to dark brown or whatever, it's really important we keep our images fresh. So here's another thing for you. Our headline, our bar, there's different terms for this. This is exactly what we do. My advice is not to put waffly sentences here, straight to the point, what you do, and also use terms that your client base, your future prospects will find you with. If you use something really that's not known in your industry, that's too deep, that's only specific for your niche market, say, people won't find you. People will not be drawn to your profile because people can find you by looking at, by searching some of these profiles. LinkedIn's great from a point of finding people you've never met before. So it's really important looking here straight away, my business, my profile, and exactly what I do is up to date. Your contact information, click there. You want to have that up to date. And if you're not quite sure at this point, Sue, I'm thinking, how the hell do I update some of this? If you click on your name, can you see here, update your URL profile on the screen? Make sure that's the first thing you go and update to this afternoon. Go and make sure your name is as you are without all those digits on the back. And while you're doing it, check your Facebook business pages as well, because a lot of you have all those silly digits on the end of your Facebook pages as well. So all you do is click and you can go into edit. Now you can look down my profile here. Yeah, I've got a lot of followers. I've been in networking for 13 years. I've been on LinkedIn for 20 years. So I'm going to have a lot of followers. And you can go and check out different parts of your followers, which I'm going to try and show you if I've got time in a moment. But here's my analytics for the last 7 days. Now, I haven't done a huge amount actually since Christmas on my LinkedIn profile. And the reason is because I've been so heavily involved with the awards and International Women's Day that I haven't had time. Now, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But really, with anything, you should be consistent. And I haven't been, so I'm telling myself off now. So my feed is actually a lot lower than what it normally is. Right, so analytics are great. We should all be looking at analytics on any platform. We shouldn't just be posting because we don't know what's working for us. So you can see here, look, my post impressions in the last week have gone down. And that is because of my not so much engaging, not so many posts. And that is because, as I say, of workload. But you can have a look at some of your analytics. I'm going to show you the best analytic at the end. So I'm just going to pop back to my profile. And we haven't even engaged with anyone yet, have we? We just need to make sure that shop front is absolutely great. So we need to make sure our about section is correct. All you need to do, look, is edit these sections. Little pens here for editing. And here's some of the featured posts that I put. So when I'm looking at someone's profile, I'm going to be perhaps looking at their featured popular posts. And you can add, you can take away. So if I wanted to put a post here I'm particularly proud of, I'm an award winner, I've got a brilliant testimony, and I want to make it a featured part of my profile, all I need to do is click that box and add a post. And all my posts then will come up slightly slower because of the bandwidth. You can see here, I put this one on this morning and I'm going to click feature. And it will come up then on my featured post. Can you see? So if I wanted to take something off, I can just take it off and edit the post. So if I go in there and I want to take something off here that's a bit old, you can take it off just by clicking remove. And that's really a good tool that you should be using for anything that you really want to push, because some of those featured posts aren't just seen in the next 24 hours when you've posted them. They come up and people can find them because they may click on your featured posts. So all your important posts, get there on featured. All your activity is all here, so all your posts are here, so you can have a look. So if you've not had a chance to go through at the end of the week some of your posts, you can go back on them. So here's the one I put up this morning. I'm putting quite a few of the finalist posts. So if I click on comments, you can see here, look, these are the comments that are coming up. And what I would do is I would always engage. So I've quickly put that I've loved these, little engagement, but I always spend a bit of time replying, because believe it or not, when you reply to comments, it actually boosts your posts even more because you've got more engagement. So I actually sit and reply to most comments that are on my posts. So there's a post I did yesterday with a video, and I'll add here, video has great views, actually far more than just a regular image post. And There's no point in even posting just content these days. You need a visual to pull people in, entice them, bring them in to want to read. But video is a great tool, and there are so many platforms of video software you can put on there. And also, I don't know whether I've got any on here, video yourself. Tell people what you are about. You are your shop front. Tell them. Have a play on your phone. Do a 30-second video. Don't do it for any longer. People will only watch the first 30 seconds, so get it all in there. If you want to share lots of things, make sure you share them in little blocks rather than just one long video. But that's the activity there on my posts. I'm checking the time. I'm also going to be looking at my feed here while I'm talking about posts, and I can engage. So here's a book that I'm actually in. I know there's a lot of our LoveBiz members in. So people are engaging with the person in this book. Look, there I am. There's Michelle. There's Debbie. There's Wendy. There's Tara. I'm trying to see what else is on there. Linda. Let's have a look. I've got Hannah. Caroline. There's quite a few LoveBiz members there. And sorry if you're watching now and I've not highlighted you. I can't see all the pictures very well. So I look through and I engage with as many people as I can. And you know what? I make this part of my role. This is my promotional role to let people know I am here. And by engaging on other people's posts, you are promoting you at all times, because people will read it. People will think, oh, that's really nice. You know, that person's engaged with me. So go through. I mean, I've got my feed gets so busy because I've got so many followers, but I've spent time building my network. I meet the most amazing people. So engage, like, and then put a comment in. It really does help you. So I'm just popping back to my profile now to see what else I can share with you. So here's my experience. This is your credibility as well. People will look, if there are, say for instance, they have got 2 celebrants. I can see Susan. Sorry, I can't see you all because I can't have you all on my screen. I can see Susan, and I'm torn between using Susan as a celebrant and Jane blogs. So I'm going to do a bit of research. I might look on their website. I'm going to look perhaps on their social media platforms, on LinkedIn, and I'm going to be looking, oh yeah, okay, Susan's got 12 years experience. Yeah, oh, she's done this, that, and the other. And then really importantly, your recommendations. So they are really good things that people will look at and share. And you can recommend and you can receive recommendations. And they're great things. And what you can do is check in, like with Kate Harrison there. I would check in with her and say, actually, Kate, can I use your words you've put in for some graphics or something? And more than likely, she will say yes. So you could actually use that information and actually put it on your website in other places. But recommendations are really good. Now, there is one thing that really annoys me on recommendations. When someone messages you to ask for a recommendation and you've never used your services. So bear that in mind. You wouldn't believe how many messages I get. Can you recommend me, Sue? Can you put a recommended? And I'm thinking, I've never used their services, so I'm not going to. So make sure you only ask people who've used your services for a recommendation. I think it's just a bit naughty when people ask, because you can't give a true one, can you? So that is my profile in a nutshell. I know probably some of you just need to tweak a bit to update it, but always keep it fresh. We have our website on there. You can have the social, services there that you do. And all you need to do is when you look at your profile, you just do that by just clicking there. Oh, sorry, not there. Let me go back. Just looking on your profile, click your name, and it will come up. So all those little edit buttons you can change. So that is my profile in a nutshell. And I'm going to stop sharing just to check you're all still with me. Yes, you are. Thank you very much. As I say, you can always go back and replay on this and all the information will be there. But some of those things I've shared with you so far are just the basics for all platforms. So think about how many times you've engaged with someone to say, hello, I'm here. If you don't engage, people won't see you. And that's one thing we have actually an issue with across all of LoveBiz. There's not enough engagement. So someone might put a post in our Facebook group. I know we're talking about LinkedIn, but this is Facebook. And no one engages with it. And it's quite sad, really. So think about that, ladies. All the people in the room today, think about just doing a little bit more engagement with others. It really, really helps. So I'm just going to go back to my presentation. Let's have it went a bit funny then. So ladies, content is queen actually, not king, although we have a king now. Writing your posts is so important that you write them well. Now, I'm going to say something that some people might not agree with, but I find AI written posts are too generic, out of date, and not sounding like the person who's writing them. I think AI is great for some ideas and to help you write a post, but don't rely on AI all the time. We want to hear your voice in our heads when we read any posts. And again, that's something across the board. Don't write too much because people won't sit and read it. The amount of posts that I start off because they look really interested in, 3 minutes later, I've not got to the end of the post. I just haven't got time to read it. So like your videos, if you've got a lot to say, make that post into 3 posts. Keep it shorter with a nice visual and make sure it's relevant to your audience. There's one thing that is absolutely crucial on all areas of posting, and that is the power of the hashtag, but in the correct format. On LinkedIn, anything between 2 and 4 hashtags is perfect. They need to be relevant to your post, and you could do some research by searching your hashtags and even following them to make sure you're using the right hashtags. If you're not using hashtags and people are searching those terms, they're not going to find you. These are the people who don't know you exist until they actually search you by your profiles, by your hashtags. Hashtags can give you so much more reach, but you will send the algorithms spinning out of control if you put loads of hashtags on your posts. Number one, it looks really spammy. And number 2, the algorithms do not like it. Now, each platform has a different amount. So if you're still posting 30 hashtags on an Instagram post, that's not a good thing to do these days. And it hasn't been for about 2 or 3 years. 8 hashtags on an Instagram post is really good because your algorithms will not like it. Algorithms mess up if you don't write things properly and it doesn't get the reach like your posts should. As I've put there, every platform has different algorithms. There's one thing, and I don't think so many people are using third-party software anymore because all the platforms have put in good analytics, good posting, scheduling and things like that. But do not use a third-party software because none of the platforms like it. And again, your reach is going to be compromised. Try and keep all your links to the platform you are using. So in LinkedIn, if you're putting a post and you're linking it out of LinkedIn to your website, to somewhere else, another call to action, LinkedIn's going to hold back the reach on your post. It wants you to keep everything in LinkedIn because it doesn't want people to leave LinkedIn and for that then to, you know, go away, not come back to it. All the platforms want you to stay in them. So if you do events, make sure you've got an event on LinkedIn, and I'll very briefly show you where those are. Another thing is, never try to put the same content on all your platforms the same, because number one, your hashtags are different, which I've already commented on, but also Google SEO doesn't like repeat posts. It doesn't like 6 posts going on to the internet on different platforms, all exactly the same. So it's really worthwhile just to tweak some of those posts as well. But remember those hashtags, it's absolutely key. Now, I'm going to very briefly, because I'm conscious of time, oh my goodness, I want to talk to you about searches and connections, and I'm going to stop sharing because I'm going to try and help you with this a bit longer. I'm happy to stay on for 5 more minutes. Can't stop on any longer because we've got more interviews this afternoon. Okay, here's something for you. You can connect with anyone you want to on LinkedIn. It's not frowned upon, but it's how you do it. Because LinkedIn is about linking with others. Okay. Facebook to personal account Facebook is an absolute no-no. We should never be connecting with people from personal Facebook accounts to personal Facebook accounts. And I certainly don't do it. And that's why, sadly, I'm not a friend on Facebook with lots of members, because I keep it quite personal. It's normally about my granddaughter or my food that I eat. I'm that boring. But I use it from a personal point of view, my personal profile. LinkedIn, it's absolutely fine for you to do a screen print today and go and connect with everybody in this room. But it's the message you put, and that's the important part. Your message needs to be put when you send that connection. Don't just connect. Actually put why you want to connect with them. And I'll show you my message that's really successful in a moment on the screen. And I connect with so many people and they connect with me. And like I say, I've met with some incredible people. In fact, looking around the room now, I've connected with Gemma through LinkedIn, Claire Downham through LinkedIn, Susie Jacobs, no, that was a referral actually from Sarah Beggin, Nicola through LinkedIn, and also Laura, who's got a poorly back, through LinkedIn. Diane was through LinkedIn. Laura, I think we've got to pass somewhere. Laura Borton, we've got to pass somewhere because we're quite local to each other. But LinkedIn is a great tool for making connections. So I'm just going to share my screen again very quickly. There, I think we're all right. So making connections, you can do it 2 ways. You can either have Sales Navigator, which I used to be about £80 a month, and it was fabulous. Cut back a bit. I'm really happy with the amount of connections I have, so I don't actually use that anymore. I've gone back to my good old way of a Boolean search. So say, for instance, I'm looking for a funeral director. You see there in Solihull. If you put that in your search, you will find people who you are looking for. So if you want to work with other architects or builders, I'm just looking at Gemma or whatever, you can find them. But it's really good you put your area that you're looking for. And in there, look, your people will come up. Without Navigator, it's not quite as busy with those connections, but it's free. And I've learned my lesson over the years. If I make it too busy with connections, I don't have time to follow them up correctly. Now, I'm just going to check my connections are working right, because sometimes they don't. Yeah, it's working. So add a note to your invitation. Add a note or send without a note. Always add a note so people know why you're connecting. And here, I'm going to stop sharing. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit. Is hopefully you can see that. This is my example of a message. Hello there, I'm Sue. I always start it with hello there. So if you get a message from me, I'm normally hello there. Just the way, just my way. I am the passionate founder of LoveBiz Networking, where we've been nurturing business relationships since 2012. So they know exactly who I am by that very short sentence. Impact Executive, Northern Community of Business Women connect monthly online or at wonderful venues for lunch. And I'd love the opportunity to tell you more. There is no sales in that. It's telling them exactly why I want to connect. So that person has the choice then of whether they accept my connection or if they don't. And my next message then, because I always follow up with a message, always then is about a bit more about LoveBiz. And I'll ask some questions. I start the engagement, I start the question. Now, looking at the time, it's just a quick follow up. I want to just share one more thing with you, and that is social selling index. And this tells you how your LinkedIn account is doing. And when I do one-to-ones on LinkedIn training, before we start, this is where I start. I get everybody to send me their social selling index screen. I think there's a couple of people who've been on my things with me, but this is where you stand in the world of LinkedIn. It's a really good starting base because it shows you once you've started to be consistent and doing all the things I've shared with you, make sure your profile's up to date, it can actually then give you an idea. And I would just check it every 4 weeks or so to see how you're doing. This is mine from a little while ago. It's just a screenshot, but I will share with you all, and you can go and take this from my next screen. It's a really good way of starting today to see how you're getting on with your profiles and building your followers, your engagers, and getting that. And it really does show you in 4 weeks the difference it can make with your reach. And you know then what you're doing is working. If it's still at the same rate, go and check your profiles. And you've got to give it some engagement and posting on LinkedIn. You can't just expect everyone to come to you because no marketing activity, promotional activity, waits for people to come to you. You've got to do a little bit. If you do a little bit and say, right, Monday, I'm going to spend half an hour on LinkedIn and I'm going to go and make some connections. I'm going to get engaged with some people and then do another 15 minutes later on in the week. But actually make that a consistent thing, because if you're going to be posting, you want to be responding to those people who are engagers. But do the social selling index to start with. Here are some extra snippets for LinkedIn, as we didn't have time to do and go through some of these bits and pieces. So the one thing I was asked on the Q&A is about events. So I'm just going to click here. So events are all loaded on the left-hand side of your profile. And you can see here, here's all the events that we've put on for LoveBiz for my own account. So if I click on the Ledger St. Don online meeting in February, you'll see here that we have a banner with all the details plus a little QR code, and the dimensions are all correct. The headline to the event, so they know exactly what the event's about, and also the full details about the event. And that's all the information, pretty much the same as our website, but you can add anything here. But the more information you put, the better, as people like to know what they're giving their time to or booking. So you'll see here the details for the event. for Michelle, which I'm covering for her as she's on holiday. And you can go and share and invite people to the event from your network. So you can see here, look, I'm going to go down the locations button and I'm going to put, it's a Doncaster event, but I'm just using Sheffield as an example, as it's the standby sister event region. So I'm just going to add some people to click and invite. So there you go. And that's all you need to do. And they will get a notification inviting them to that event. And that makes it so much easier. You can see here, look, these are the people who have said they want to come. So you can click on there and you can see all these people. So some people I'm connected with, some I'm not connected with. So they may have found us through searching for events. They could be Michelle as a connection, but you'll be able to message these people to remind them of the event as well. And that's just the events, but it's so easy to put an event on. So all you do is click back on events from this left-hand side menu, and you can just put events and create an event, and up comes the template. So I can set an event either through myself, my marketing business, or LoveBiz networking. And here's your dimensions for the image upload. So it's a 16:9 ratio. And there you go. And then you add, whether it's online or in person, the format, the name. Make sure you've got it in the right time zone. That can cause problems. The full description, and you can stretch it out there if you want to, and add any speakers on there. And then you would just click next, and that will load up. And then you can go and invite people. But it's quite simple, quite easy to do. But thank you for joining me. Go and play with LinkedIn and tag me. Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.